discuss everything personal finance because why? We do not want to be someone's broke friend or family member, and we don't want that for our children either. And I wanted to come to talk to you today because you will see me doing cash stuffing videos and budgeting and all of the good things, but I wanted to first talk to you about what to do before you cash stuff. Now, I know that you're probably thinking, well, you need to have a budget, which is true, but I feel like budget is like, if we're doing an outline, it would be 1A. The very first thing that you need to do before budgeting, before cash stuffing everything, you need to know how your money's gonna flow. Because if you budget and then you start cash stuffing, well, how is the money going to flow? Like, what is your flow pattern for money? So money is energy, and the first thing that we want to do is we want to know how our money is going to flow. So I want to talk to you today about my personal method. Before I budget, I know the flow of my money, and it is called my DVN4 Method. Sorry if I don't write the best, but the DVN4 Method is how I flow my money, and this is what I know before I come up with my budget, and then of course way before I cash stuff. So my DVN4 method is this. I have a checking, and I'll call that checking 1. And I have a checking, I'll call that checking 2. I have a regular savings, call this 1. And then I have a high yield savings. And I'll call this savings 2. So I actually have 2 banks that I use. It is Chase Bank and Navy Federal Credit Union. Now, I don't use Chase Bank as much as I did before. I am primarily using Navy Federal Credit Union because I am very much a credit union girl. I love the products and services that they offer, and I did work at a credit union for about 11 and a half years. So I am an all-around credit union girl. I love Navy Federal, and I also love Chase. They're my favorite banking institutions. So right now, and probably for a very long time, I will be primarily using Navy Federal. So I have 1 checking that I call my daily spend. And this checking account, I actually have my deposits go through when I pay myself. My next checking account is called, I'm pretty sure you already know, my bills account. This is when I basically move everything over here that has bills. So once everything is deposited from when I get paid, I calculate the bills that I want to come out for the pay period, and then I move it here and I don't touch it because most of them are set up on automatic payment. You don't have to set them up on automatic payments because there are like 2 bills that I don't know why. I just move the money over and then set a reminder for myself in my planner to pay this bill on this certain day. Most of the time I pay it early though. My regular savings account, I call this like a rainy day or a floater, and I'll explain that in a little bit. My high yield savings, this is where the bulk of the money that I save goes. So let me show you what it looks like. when I pay myself, let's say, for example, I earned $4,000, and I will already know because I've set up a budget, but from that budget, and I will know, is, for example, let me just say, if you get paid monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, and then there's semi-monthly, but I'm just like, okay, just say bi-weekly. Like, I know it might be the 1st and the 15th, or the 15th and the 30th, but that's twice a month. So for my budget, let's say that I already know, because for me personally, I like to pay myself twice a month, and I do have some magic months where I get excess, and I call that my company bonus. But on the regular, I pay myself twice a month. So I break everything up per pay period. So we have pay 1, and then we have pay 2. So let's say that my bills for pay 1 are $1,500. And then my bills for pay 2, we'll say that they're like $300. So I just got paid $4,000, and it's all here. So once I know how much for pay 1, I will move $1,500 over here. But let me tell you a trick. I always give myself a little bit floating money in my bills account, just in case I miss something. We're human, we make mistakes. So, and I know that my bills are $1,500, but I might just say, let me just put $1,650 in here. That's it with this account. We don't touch it at all. So now that I have, see, I should have brought my calculator here, right? $2,350 left. So what I do next is I decide how much am I going to give myself in my my checking, my first checking, because it is my daily spend. So I might give myself $200, and then I'll deduct it from here. If my math is off, I apologize. I have $2,150 left. What in the world am I going to do with this? So this is when I get out my cash sheet and I know how much I want to stuff. I will say that I don't stuff more than about $550 at a time. So I'll just go ahead and take the $550 out of this. And this is going to be my cash stuff. So if you're not familiar with what I'm doing also, is I am doing a zero-based budget. Every dollar from my flow has a job. And I know the job before the funds hit my checking one account. So usually I'll just go in and I start moving money around. So I know that I'm going to go to the bank and I am going to withdraw $550 of cash. I already know, and well, you already know as well, if you are a cash stuffer, that I know the denominations of what I'm going to do. I already know which categories I'm going to stuff, so that's great. So I have $1,600 looks like left. So then what I decide to do is in my rainy day floater, let's say that I'll give myself $400 and just let that sit there. And then I'll take the $1,200 and move it to my high yield savings, and this stays here. I never touch the money in this account because again, it is a high yield savings. I like to see it earn interest and I just like to see it grow. I love putting money in there. But if we're going to talk about the regular savings, now you will hear me say this once we get into cash stuffing, but the regular savings again is my floater because I kind of use this for an emergency. Like if something comes up, for example, I had think I had maybe like $3,000 in there, and I was getting ready to move over $2,000 because I really like to keep only $1,000 in there for like an emergency. But I got a little lazy, and right before I was about to move the $2,000 over and then just keep the one, my son called me and said, "Mom, my vehicle is not working." So that was $1,000 repair, but it was okay because I had the money. Also, I cashed stuff in an envelope for my son, and instead of moving over 2,000, I ended up moving over one, used 1,000, and kept the $1,000 in the regular savings. So again, I use this, my regular saving. This is what I should call it instead of rainy day or floater. I should call it my emergency funds savings. I think I'm going to change the name because I even named it rainy day, which I guess it's equivalent to the same thing, right? But I'm kind of like a stickler about wording. So this is my rainy day / emergency savings, and then my high yield. So again, with my DVN4 method, I like to have my money flow like this, to where I have a daily spend account, I have a bills account, because I realized that when I would budget and I only had one checking account, and then I was swiping and using like daily things for that, then you forget to go back and check to make sure that a bill cleared, because we all know creditors, they will harass you if you're even a day late. But then when you're like paying early, they take 5 days to take the payment. I'm like, do you want this money or not? Let me know, because if you don't, I will take these coins. But what I was saying is that I found myself not going back and making sure that the payments had cleared. So then you're just swiping one card. That didn't work for me. I have to have everything organized and separated. So once I do my budgeting, I move that money over, give myself a little bit extra, just in case I miss something, or if something comes up. Because for example, for my bills, I don't know if you do this, but when I budget my bills, I add in my groceries and my ties as a bill, so that I can also take it out of my pay period. And then I give myself a little bit extra in case I miss something. I think I've missed something maybe a couple of times that came out auto draft, because I was just trying to do a budget and was in a hurry, and I missed like adding $50, but it came out of the extra, so I really like that. I was like, whew. So again, daily spend is for your daily spending, and we will get deeper into this and what I actually do with this account, and if I actually really use it, or do I use my cash stuffing envelope. So that's going to be my next video. We are going to educate each other, so please leave comments in the comments on this video so that we can educate each other. I would love to know like what your method is. I would love to know if you have any questions about my DVN4 method. Let's really help each other grow and become financially free. So let me just say this again, because I get a little long-winded, Daily spend, bills, rainy day emergency savings, and then my high yield savings. Have I ever had to take money out of here? I think I did like maybe once or twice, and it was just like because a lot of things was coming at me and I didn't have enough in my envelopes, but they did help me because I didn't have to take as much as I maybe would have. So yeah, I'm not saying that you don't ever have to take from there, because life is life happens, and sometimes you do have to pull from the high yield. But this is why my goal is to always have $1,000 in my regular savings, and my goal is to have $750 of floating money in my checking, my daily spend. But again, I don't want to get to confuse you on what I actually do for my daily spend account, because I don't actually use it that much. Because why? I cash stuff. So that is what I feel you should do the first thing before doing your budget. And of course, we know before cash stuffing is, how is your money going to flow? We want to make sure that all the energy surrounding money flows freely. And so we have to start with, how am I going to organize this? Because it's going to be your own method. Of course, we can use other people's methods, but in the end, you end up finding your own flow, and that's what I'm here for. So my flow is the DVN4 Method. That's my personal financial flow before my budget, before I cash stuff. And I am so curious to know what your flow is. And again, I hope that you leave comments, and I hope that this video was really helpful for you. My next video, it may be cash stuffing. I know I do have to cash stuff this week. So it might be cash stuffing, or we might talk about the daily spend. I don't know. We can also talk about both of them. So also, don't be hating on my nails because they're not done. I've been painting. I've been doing a lot of things, but the girl's going to get her nails done probably next week. Okay, so just bear with me. Anyways, it's been so great. Thank you again for tuning in to our series, Divine Finance, where we discuss everything personal finance. I will see you again soon. Thank you so much. Bye.